I tried beating Terraria using the Universe of Bows mod. This mod adds a crazy amount of brand new bows into the game with various different abilities, making the archer class absolutely overpowered. Will I be able to Robin Hood my way through Terraria and take out the Moon Lord? Well, let's find out. I started off by spawning into the world, opening up my loot bag as always, equipping all of my armor, and then going to chop down trees. Upon defeating my very first slime, the guy defeated it first, leaving none for me, I realized that we can actually pick up slime essence. And just as in the Universe of Swords mod, there's also a special essence that belongs to the class. Here we have bow essence, which drops from every single mob that we defeat. The first thing I did was crafted a regular wooden bow, and then after combining it with 10 bow essence, I actually made a new bow called the Boio. How creative is that? Now this was actually fairly powerful. It dealt 14 range damage, and for a starter bow, it was very good. I used it all the way until our very first boss, which was the Eye of Cthulhu. But before this, I went to go break a couple of demon orbs, get myself more bow essence, and as I came back to spawn, I started digging out myself a elevator. I picked myself up a bunch, and I mean a bunch of various different ores, and upon coming back to spawn, I made myself a furnace, an anvil, and then went to chop down even more trees. I crafted myself Louis AFK's prison builder, made a bunch of NPC houses, and then continued digging my elevator. I made myself a lead pickaxe, and then went over to the left side of the world in order to explore the jungle. I actually found that a meteor had actually dropped, so having no way to mine it, I did not pick it up whatsoever, and then came back to spawn. Upon coming back to spawn, I actually got overwhelmed by a blood moon and got bombarded by zombies. I tried taking as many out as I could so I can get myself much more bow matter because we actually needed this for almost every single crafting recipe, and by the end of the blood moon I had over 100, which is a fair amount, 100 bow essence. I then went to go pick up meteors using bombs, blew myself up, set myself on fire, ended up going out in flames. But as soon as I came back to spawn, I actually crafted myself a brand new bow out of 50 bow essence and 5 stars called the Star Bow. This essentially was just a star cannon, and this was the most powerful thing I've seen ever since the Greeks discovered the crossbow. I don't know if they did do that, but let's hope they did, just so my facts are correct. That is way besides the point. After this, I went over to the corruption and decided to blow up more orbs and challenge the Eater of Worlds. We took him out like he was absolutely a joke, and after this, I crafted myself a nightmare pickaxe. Upon doing this, I went to go mine up some obsidian, mine up some hellstone, and dig out my elevator fully. I got myself a hellforge, and upon coming back to spawn, I built myself an arena for the mechanical bosses and the Eye of Cthulhu. We all know that the Eye of Cthulhu is actually harder than the mechanical bosses, so more or less I only built it for that. Hit a like on the video if you're a true Eye of Cthulhu enjoyer, and if you do not like the video, you will feel an evil presence watching you. Anyways, as soon as it turned to nighttime, I fought and defeated the Eye of Cthulhu very easily using the Star Bow and the Boio, right? What an awesome name. And upon defeating it, it ended up dropping a Cthulhu bow. This was hot garbage. I mean, I already had a bow which was far better, which was the Star Bow, and then after this, I went over to defeat Skeletron over in the dungeon. We took him out very quickly, and after this, I went to go check if the chest had any different bows that I could actually pick up. Upon wasting a solid 2 months of my life, I found absolutely nothing, got very sad, and then cried myself to sleep. Of course, Boio doesn't cry because he's an absolute legend, so I came back and decided to challenge the Goblin Invasion. We took them out very quickly, and we got a ton, and I mean a ton of bow essence, but we still had work to do. I went back down to the underworld and started picking myself more obsidian and hellstone. After we had enough hellstone, I came back to spawn, crafted myself a bunch of hellstone bars, made a molten pickaxe, and then went mining for heart crystals. At this point, I didn't even have full health, and before fighting the wall of flesh, I really wanted to get to max HP because I'm kind of trash at the game, and I would probably die if I didn't have full health. Anyways, I chucked the guide voodoo doll into the lava, and then boom, we summoned in the wall of flesh, and using the hellstone bow that I recently crafted, I was spamming it with hellstone arrows exploding on the wall of flesh, and we managed to take it out on my very first try, putting us into hard mode. We now had to go through the very epic pickaxe progression, and you boyos know how much I love that. I would rather have an intimate relationship with a man than do the pickaxe progression, but some things are just meant to be done. Anyways, I went to go destroy the demon altars, and I blessed my world with palladium, and before I could bless it with anything else, I got absolutely pulverized by wraiths. I took them all out and continued blessing my world with palladium, orichalcum, and adamantite. I made myself a palladium pickaxe first, then an orichalcum pickaxe, and then I did not craft an adamantite pickaxe pickaxe because who even does that? We all know that it's just better to skip to the pickaxe axe and not even bother crafting the adamantite pickaxe. If you do, you're kind of a loser. Sorry. I went down to the underworld, tried to farm out for souls of light, adamantite, but then I got absolutely pulverized by mobs and I died in mere seconds. This is where I had to rethink my life. While meditating, I decided to challenge the Eye of Cthulhu to take my mind off the pain, as if you were to punch a little kid while in anger, but that's besides the point. I then went back down to the underworld, started farming for souls of night, souls of light, and I got myself a bunch of adamantite. Once I did that, I went over to the Sky Islands to farm for wyverns, so I can get myself a pair of harpy wings and enough souls of flight to actually craft the wings. Also, boyos, how do you pronounce wyvern? Everyone's telling me it's like wyvern or something, and then they're telling me it's wrong. Can we get wyvern gang in the comments? All the people that pronounce it the way that I do. Write that down in the comments. I will love you for that. Anyways, I crafted myself full adamantite armor, which is the best armor that we can get at this stage of the game when it comes to ranger, and I prepared to fight the legendary mechanical bosses. I had to make myself the boss summons first, so I went down to the underground and started farming for more souls of night and light. I had all the materials that I need to craft to make the mechanical bosses, and I summoned in the destroyer first. I used the starboat to absolutely blow the destroyer into smithereens, and after we beat it, we actually got a brand new bow called the destroyer's bow. It exploded on impact, and using that bow, we took out the twins, and then I challenged Skeletron Prime using the twin bow, which was essentially a repeater. It ended up turning to daytime, and I got one-shotted. I waited for it to turn to nighttime once more, buffed up, and fought and defeated Skeletron Prime. The jungle now grows restless. You know what else grows restless, boyos? That is correct. Boyo sadness when you do not click the like button. I've been reading a lot of comments of you guys telling me that I sound very sad. That is indeed true. If you really want the truth behind this, it's because nobody is liking my videos. And so I cry myself to sleep every night. Anyways, after this, I crafted myself the pickaxe axe using all the various different souls and combined all the mechanical bows to make myself the mechanical bow. It shoots extremely fast arrows of light that absolutely pierce anything that gets in his way, but sadly, it's an absolute waste of space because it does like no damage. Yeah, this made me cry. I went over to the jungle, made myself an arena for Plantera, and then fought her and defeated her very quickly using a chlorophyte blossom, which was a chlorophyte bow, and the mechanical bow that I previously crafted. I went straight to Golem's temple, fought and defeated Golem very quickly, surprisingly. It was very easy. And then our very next bow actually needed 50 inspector bars, 20 ectoplasm, and the sunstone, I think it's called. So I had to go into the dungeon and farm out ectoplasm. Once I had enough ectoplasm, I crafted all the various different materials and made myself the Soul Reaper bow. Essentially, they shot out phantom arrows, and it was very powerful. I made myself full chlorophyte armor for the next bosses to come, and after this, I went to go fight the lunatic cultist. We took him out fairly easily. I actually managed to really mess up at the very start of the boss fight, which did frustrate me, and I almost wanted to slap my own head against my wall, but since I am a meditating god, I controlled my emotions like a real man and did not do that. Okay, maybe once, but that doesn't matter. We took out the lunatic cultist, and now we have the pillars. For this, we actually got invaded by pirates, and this really made me reconsider if I wanted to still be a Terraria YouTuber, but I pushed through, defeated the pirates, and then went to go fight the Stardust Pillar. Within seconds, I died. Upon trying again and again, we took out the Stardust Pillar first, and then went to go challenge the Vortex Pillar. After taking out the Vortex Pillar, I actually crafted myself the Phantasm Bow, and using the Phantasm, I went to go challenge the Solar Pillar. This was absolute brutal hell. I really wanted to do naughty things to my computer. Don't get the wrong idea, boyos, by the way. After we took out the Solar Pillar, I went to the Nebula Pillar, took that out, bought a bunch of buff potions, and then my screen started shaking as if I was playing Terraria like a complete drunk man. I hid under my little roof for the laser and then waited for the Moonbow to spawn it. Voice crack, Jesus. And then waited for the Moonbow to spawn in. I started spamming all of his various different eyeballs. Why does he have 3 eyes? Like, why does he need 3 eyes? You reckon he can see from 3 different areas? That's pretty cool. But yeah, essentially, after we took out all 3 eyes, he couldn't see from any areas, leaving only his core exposed. So I guess that doesn't even matter at this point. And then using the Phantasm and the Soul Reaper bow, we managed to take out his core and defeat Moonlord. Now, once we defeated Moonlord, he actually dropped an infinite flight essence. Using this, all various various different fragments, we could actually craft the Moonbow. This was a repeater that was the master of them all, as the description suggests. It dealt over 3,500 damage, and boyos, let me tell you, it quite literally shot out moons. It does not get cooler than this. Literal moons. I decided to fight Golem using this bow, and it was absolutely brutal. Yeah, just check out the power on this. This was the Universe of Bows mod. Be sure to check out another video like this on screen. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're new. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Follow my brand new Instagram in the description. Oh my goodness, how many more things is Boio gonna say? This has been Boio. Peace out.